right, everyone, we're going to get started. We have a board member who's behind an accident at 16th and 37, so Mrs. Collier will be here as soon as she can. So this meeting is a meeting of the school board in public for the purpose of conducting the school corporation's business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. There may be time for public participation as indicated by agenda item or as directed by the president. The meeting site is fully accessible. Any person requiring further accommodation should contact the superintendent at the school corporation central office. Meeting will be electronically recorded and will be kept on file in the superintendent's office. A copy of the audio recording will also be available on the NLCS website. So not all members are here, but there is one in transit and who will be here. For next, for the Pledge of Allegiance, all those who are able, please rise and uncover. Mr. Bailey, would you lead us? I would now entertain a motion to approve the minutes and executive session memo from August 15th of 2024.
Motion.
Mr. Parsley makes a motion. Do we have a second?
A second.
Mr. King seconds. Any discussion on the motion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Any persons to address the board relative to the agenda? No? Is there anyone here who would like to, who didn't fill out a card? All right. Human Resources, Mr. Unger.
Thank you. Good evening. Guess I'll kick off here. First, bring to you the personal agenda for your approval.
All right, I would entertain a motion to approve the personnel agenda as presented.
I'll make a motion.
Mr. Parsley makes a motion. Do we have a second? Mr. King seconds. Any discussion on the motion? All right. Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Abstain.
One abstention. Motion carries. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 2, approval of the district librarian stipend, and this role will be filled by Lucretia Kuhn out at, she's currently at Needmore.
All right. I would entertain a motion to approve the district librarian stipend as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve.
All right. Mr. King makes the motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Bailey seconds. Any discussion on the motion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, motion carries. Number 3.
Number 3, approval of professional development for Kelsey Pace and Madison Jackson to attend the Indiana Association of the Gifted Conference in Indianapolis, Indiana on December 9 through 10, 2024.
All right, I would entertain a motion as for the approval of professional development as presented. Mrs. Miller makes the motion. Do we have a second? Mr. King seconds. Any discussion on the motion?
So do they have to qualify to be on the Association of the Gifted? Never mind.
I may not be gifted enough to answer that.
All right. Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, motion carries. Number 4.
Number 4, approval of textbook adoption for environmental science and Vincennes University trigonometry. And I believe there would be no more than 100 books.
Yeah, we have that in.
Okay. I didn't know if they got that into your paper. I know they updated the digital.
All right, I'd entertain a motion to approve the textbook adoption for environmental science and Vincennes University trigonometry as presented.
So moved.
Mr. Bailey makes a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Parsley seconds. Any discussion on the motion?
Why is this under Human Resources?
Well, Dr. Miller had a previous engagement, and so she asked me, well, she threw them out here for the directors, and I said I'd be glad to present them for.
Okay.
So
Fair enough.
it is in student services technically and curriculum specifically, but
All right. Any more discussion? All right. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, motion carries. Thank you. Mrs. Hudson?
thank you.
Good evening. My first item is approval of the September curriculum stipends. These are for the NLCS new teacher training meetings for the 24-25 school year, and these will be paid with budgeted Title II funds.
Okay, I would entertain a motion to approve the September curriculum stipends as presented.
Make a motion we approve?
All right, Mr. Parsley makes a motion. Do we have a second? Mr. King seconds. Any discussion on the motion?
I have a question about stipends in general.
Sure.
But I get this is targeted to our new hire or new teachers. But going back for the previous two motions and the approvals of stipends, are we, and this is maybe not a question for you so much as the administration, are we advertising the ability to like take the training that we just approved for the two principals that are going? Is that something that's broadcast and everyone's allowed to have it?
That particular one was advertised in the curriculum newsletter, and you were just to email Dr. Miller if you were interested. I think
Okay.
you had to fill out a Google form and follow up with an email. It was open to any teacher who has high ability students.
Okay.
So those were the people that wanted to go. I believe she's going to have a few more people who are going to go just to the one day of the conference. That won't need to be board approved because it'll just be driving up and back the same day.
And on this one, how are the new teachers recruited for this? Was it
So these are just
mandatory or was it?
anyone who's a new teacher to NLCS in their first 3 years of teaching, or anyone who is a first-year teacher is invited and strongly encouraged to attend these meetings. There's one per month, and they last an hour.
Okay.
We've done this the past several years. It's been a pretty successful program, and I think it's had a bearing on our first-year teacher retention rate. We've really improved that over the last few years. So it just depends on the stipend. Like that one earlier that Mr. Unker presented, our district librarian, we only, I believe, have one person in our district who has a librarian. She actually has a degree in library science. So that, she was asked to do that because we don't have a librarian for the district, and by state mandate we have to have one. So depends on what the stipend is.
Right.
If it's possible, we widely advertise in the curriculum newsletter if it's professional development or things like that, to give as many people a chance to do that as possible.
Okay, thank you.
And our building administrators encourage the new teachers to take this training as well.
I have a question before you move on for Greg, because I didn't get to. Could we approve all this PD 2, 3, 4, and 5? Could we approve that all together?
Everybody's in agreement.
Do I need to make a motion for that, or we can?
She can read it all and then you make a motion.
Okay.
If she wanted to.
If you want to just read. We already voted on one, didn't we?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry, I thought we had already voted. Any other discussion on number 1? All right, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? All right, okay, now, if you wouldn't mind to read 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then we'll vote on them.
Read all the text. Is that what you're saying? Do I just say we're?
If you just say you're going to present it.
Okay.
Do what you...
Okay, I'd like to present 4 items for your approval. Approval of professional development for Joanne Chase to attend the National Alliance on Mental Illness Conference October 10th and 11th in Indianapolis, Indiana. Approval for Kirsty Garrison, Angie Sanders, and Megan Shipley to attend the Healthy Meals Summit in Las Vegas, Nevada, October 21st through 23rd. Approval for Kelly Clark, social worker at BNL, to attend the Indiana School Social Work Association Fall Conference in Indianapolis, and approval of the opportunity for 6 counselors to attend the Indiana School Counselor Association Annual Conference in Indianapolis, November 14th and 15th. All 4 of these, the numbers 2, 4, and 5 are covered by our Butler grant, our school-based mental health grant that we just received. Item number 3 is covered by our Healthy Meals Incentive Grant, so there'll be no costs incurred for any of these items to the district.
Okay, so I would entertain a motion to approve letter E items 2, 3, 4, and 5 as presented.
Make the motion that we approve these 4 professional development items as presented.
Mr. King makes a motion. Do we have a second? Mrs. Miller seconds. Any discussion on the motion? All right. Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All All right, motion carries. Number
Thank
6.
you. The last item I have is approval of MOU between North Lawrence Community Schools and Monroe County Community School Corporation. This is for the purpose of administering the equitable share of Title I funds for a non-public school in Monroe County.
Okay, I would entertain a motion to approve letter E, number 6 as presented.
Motion approved.
Mr. King makes the motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Bailey seconds. Any discussion on the motion?
Yeah, I don't understand this. What is
Okay,
this?
I'm happy to explain it.
I didn't either the first time it
So
came across. Yeah.
we have our Title I federal funds. There's a provision that opens those to any non-public school. So this is not charters. This is non-public schools. For example, St. Vincent takes advantage of their equitable share. Currently, besides this school that we're going to talk about here, St. Vincent is the only non-public school that takes advantage of their equitable share of NLCS Title I funds, which means the principal there and I meet several times a year to make sure she's able to spend her money the way she wants to spend her money, her Title I. 3 and 4, Title I, 2, and 4 funds. This is a non-public school in Monroe County. They are only entitled to an equitable share of our Title I funds. They have a few students attending there. You can see it's a very small number of students, but they reached out and let me know that they would like to have their equitable share of their funds, which they're entitled to. Makes it really difficult with it being such a small amount for NLCS to provide any sort of services for this non-public school in Bloomington. So MCCSC, their federal grants program administrator, Mr. Luther, was gracious enough to agree to do that at no cost to the non-public school. If there would be a cost incurred, it would be to the non-public school, not to us. He's not charging a fee. They already send a teacher to the non-public schools in Monroe County using those schools' equitable funds, those non-public schools. So they're just adding this amount of money to the equitable share that they're already providing instruction for in Monroe County.
Is the non-public school in Monroe County? Or
Yes.
in Lawrence County?
I did not know until this year, we have an obligation, no matter where the non-public school is, to service those students that are North Lawrence Community School students. So they have a handful of our students attending their non-public school.
I see. Okay.
That's why. So even though they lie outside of our county, they are only entitled to Title I funds and not Title II and Title IV funds, like St. Vincent's entitled to all three. But since they lie outside of our county, they're just entitled to
Do you know
Title
how many students it is?
I. They have 4 students I think they have 6 students there, but they have 4 students who qualify for services.
All right, thank you.
Any further discussion? I got a second, yeah. It was Tracy. All right. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, thank you, Mrs.
Thank
Hudson.
you.
I don't see Mrs. Redmond, so it's Mr. Yancey.
Thank you, Dr. Miller. We are asking approval of professional development for David McCart to attend the high school instructor visitation program at WyoTech in Laramie, Wyoming on October 31st through November the 2nd, 2024.
All right, I would entertain a motion to approve as presented. Mr. King makes the motion. Do we have a second? Mrs. Miller seconds. Any discussion on the motion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, motion carries. Number 2.
Thank you. We are asking approval of the North Lawrence Career Center cosmetology agreement for 14 students.
All right, I would entertain a motion to approve as presented. Mrs. Miller makes the motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Parsley seconds. Any discussion on the motion?
Was the Phoenix Beauty School, was it the only one? Did they come to us? Did we go for bids on that? Did we?
We went searching for it because we had students that wanted to participate in cosmetology throughout the.
Turn your mic on. Is your mic on?
Are they local?
No, it's up north.
Okay. That's fine.
Yeah, closer than Vincent's probably.
Well,
Yeah.
and the original one we had was local here in town,
Yeah.
and when we basically shut it down, they shut down.
Right.
Right.
So we were their only client, really. So
No,
Okay.
I know it's up north.
but I'm glad we're getting this back in.
We have quite a few, 14 students.
Yeah, I think it's a good
My
thing.
daughter-in-law did this, and that's how she paid for her college. She
Oh.
did hair while she went to school.
Any other discussion?
It's Phoenix Beauty School. FENIX. That's what's on the document. To be honest, I don't even know where it's at. I have to ask Amy.
Gotcha.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, motion carries. Number 3.
We are asking approval for an overnight field trip for the National FFA Convention in Indianapolis, Indiana on October 23rd, 24th, 2024.
Okay, entertain a motion to approve as presented. All right, Mr. Lumbert makes a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Bailey seconds. Any discussion? Are you gonna? Oh, I thought you were getting ready to ask something. I was waiting on you. Okay, all those hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, motion carries. And then you have the next 15 items, Mr. Yancey.
Thank you. We have Performance Services here to do a small presentation on the scope of the work at Needmore and Shawswick Elementary. You'll see that in your packet here.
Hi, good evening. Neil Fleck with Performance Services. We are your selected guaranteed energy savings provider. So we were here a few months back, and we talked through the scope, and we were finalizing design and explained that, August, early September is the right time to go out and solicit bids. To get equipment in time for next summer, and 2, now is a great time to get projects on contractor schedules. We all know that contractors have been extremely busy, so we try and bid the projects at the appropriate time to get competitive pricing. So I'm going to go through the scopes of work that's in your bid packet, and if you have any questions, please feel free to ask away, and we'll get it done. So, Needmore Elementary, we are looking at upgrading the HVAC system, replacing all the individual classroom units. We have all the condensing units that sit outside of each classroom. We're going to eliminate those and install a new central chilled water plant that will distribute chilled water throughout the building. And we'll still have individual classroom units, but there'll be vertical units that will have new overhead ductwork, get better air distribution, and improve the environment in the classroom. That's really the goal here, in addition to saving energy. So new chilled water central plant, we're replacing one boiler that's well beyond its average service life. There's a newer boiler sitting next to it, so this will be a redundant boiler. Should anything happen to one, you'll have a second for backup. I mentioned the classroom unit ventilators. The facilities group, your facilities group has started an LED retrofit project there. So a portion of the building that has not been retrofitted, we'll go ahead and replace the remaining fluorescent lights with new LED. That'll provide energy savings as well. Replacing the gym air handling units. There's currently 2. We're going to combine the 2 units, have a single unit, and then we're going to add ductwork in the gym there as well. And we're going to be adding cooling and a reheat coil for dehumidification to improve that environment, so it could be used for a number of different activities. Replacing the library and office units, and then the cafeteria equipment as well, adding relief fans, and then replacing the proprietary controls with a new non-proprietary control system that we've worked with the facility group to specify. So the HVAC improvements, final pricing came in at $4,123,283. Back in this summer, we had budgeted 4.3 to 4.7 million. So that project came in a little less, which is great. We'll talk about Shawswick in a minute. That one came in slightly over budget, but that's why we budget and provide a range. And then the second piece at Needmore is replacing the shingled roof with a similar shingled roof. Replacing the ice and water shield and the underlayment below, new asphalt shingles, and a provide and flash in any new penetrations that we're going to have as part of our HVAC project, and then a 2-year manufacturer warranty provided with that roof. And that came in at $462,763. And we had budgeted between $400,000 and $500,000 back in the summer. So that came in on budget.
There's no mention of warranty under the HVAC upgrades.
Oh, so
What's the warranty there?
yeah, so it's a standard construction warranty of 1 year, but this is a guaranteed energy savings project, and so as part of that contract, we provide an energy savings guarantee for 10 years. But the equipment itself and workmanship and material, that's all warranted for a standard 1-year construction contract. And then the second page, Shawswick Elementary, very similar. Obviously, it's a larger building. There's some other challenges there. We are replacing all the individual classroom units. Again, they all have an individual unit that sits outside and is a challenge to maintain. We're going to be installing a new central chilled water plant. The boilers there are in good condition. There is an old boiler that sits there that's no longer used while we're doing this renovation. That mechanical room is at the lower level, and it's going to be really hard to get out, but while we're in there, we're going to go ahead and remove that now. It's just the right time to do it. And when we do that, the domestic water and the old boiler flues, we're going to get that all fixed up and address the flue material as well. I mentioned, just like need more individual classroom units, new overhead ductwork to get better air distribution in the classroom to improve the learning environment. At Shawswick, there's a few lights that have been retrofitted, but there's much more lighting at Shawswick that needs to be done. I know all of the classrooms need to be upgraded to LED from fluorescence, and again, that's a significant energy savings for the district. There's an existing fire barrier for egress to meet life safety codes that will be maintained. We'll have to, in order to renovate the system, we'll have to remove and reinstall and bring everything back up to code. And then obviously you have 2 gyms at Shawswick. You have the newer auxiliary gym and then the original Shawswick gym. Replacing the units there, adding cooling and reheat coil for dehumidification so that both of those gyms can be utilized throughout the year. Then on the far west end of Shawswick, the music area and the locker rooms, replacing that rooftop equipment with new extending chilled water to that portion of the building as well. And then the library and office areas, installing new VAV boxes that's to provide the zone control for the different spaces. It doesn't make sense to have an individual fan for each small office. So it's a little bit different type of system, but still provides the control that is expected. Beyond that, we're replacing the kitchen unit and adding powered relief, and again replacing the controls with non-proprietary controls that you can have multiple vendors bid on repairs after the project's complete. The roof, the shingled roof at Shawswick has been replaced already in a previous phase. So the Shawswick HVAC upgrades, final pricing came in at $7,339,351, and we had budgeted between six and $7 million, and so Needmore came in a little less. Shawswick, just due to the complexity and size of the project, came in a little bit higher than budgeted, but overall we are below $12 million, and I believe the overall budget was around $12.2 million with the roof and the 2 building HVAC upgrades. So I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
And I have the bids that you're allowed to see if you would like of all the processes are here.
The execution of these renovations is set for the summer of '25.
Yes, and if we are, as I mentioned, the critical piece is lead times and making sure that we have all the equipment here so that when June 1 hits, that we have all the equipment on site and our contractors can get started. If we have any equipment that comes in early, it's my understanding that there may be some spaces available that we could work in ahead of time. certainly central plants outside of the learning spaces, so to avoid any distractions there. But if there's anything we can get started on early, we would certainly want to do that. And then, the summer would be heavy construction.
With the goal to complete before school starts.
At Needmore, at Shawswick, the size of the project there is going to require us to.
2 years.
Yeah, I mean, we would like
Yeah.
to complete before then, before the summer of '25, but it's just a large amount of work. If
So
we're
is
able
there
to work,
a defined time frame, and if, let's say Needmore goes longer than the summer, is there a penalty in the contract for an overrun? Is there a penalty in the contract if Shawswick isn't wrapped up in whatever prescribed time frame?
there's not. No, there are not any penalties. But we don't
No.
intend, education is the priority of the school district. We typically don't have
And I'm
those
preparing the
penalties.
principals for the project. You gotta remember, there will not be a ceiling tile in those two buildings. There's all ductwork and pipework has to be done in the summer. Individual classrooms, we're lucky at Needmore, we have a few empty rooms for staging areas, so we can get Needmore done in a reasonable amount of time. Shawswick could go 2 summers. We're gonna allow them into the buildings in April to start demolition. I mean, this is a major,
I get it, I'm just saying, what recourse do we have, either a carrot or a stick,
You know.
to incentivize early completion or
Oh.
penalize late?
There's-
Should be in there somewhere, something like that should be in there.
Right.
Typically, we've not had that in the contract. That's something we can certainly discuss. But again, we're going to phase the project in a way that you will have school the first day of school and students will be in the building. It's not going to impact the classroom.
Okay, this is on video, so we'll go back.
Yeah,
to
certainly,
boy,
certainly.
You talked about guaranteed energy savings 10 years.
Mhm.
Do you have an estimate on how much energy you expect to save over after an installation is done?
I don't have that with me, no. But I can tell you that the priority of this project is to replace the equipment that's well beyond its service life, right? You have aging equipment that's
We have
failing.
much more benefit than that, but I was just curious if that's been estimated.
I have those calculations. I don't have them with me this
Okay.
evening.
That's fine.
Any other questions? Okay. Can move to number 2.
thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you. We are asking approval for the scope of the project at Shawswick and Needmore Elementary HVAC, roof, and cosmetics.
Okay, I would entertain a motion to approve as presented.
Make motion we approve?
Mr. King makes a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Mr. Lombrick seconds. Any discussion on the motion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, motion carries. Number 3.
Thank you. We are asking approval of claims and payroll since last board meeting.
All right, I would entertain a motion to approve as presented.
Make a motion to approve.
Mr. Bailey makes the motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Parsley seconds. Any discussion on the motion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, motion carries. Number 4.
We are asking approval of resolution authorizing tax anticipation warrants for the 2025.
All right, I would entertain a motion to approve as presented.
Make a motion we approve?
Mr. Parsley makes the motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Mr. Lombrick seconds. Any discussion on the motion?
Do you want to describe, Mr. Yancey, for us what this is in simplified terms?
I can read the document to you. That's about, because this is under the, what Robin would have done last year. So in a nutshell, it's telling us that you have to pay your debt, that you give the authority for us to raise money. If we would have to, I can tell you we have funds to pay our debts. So this is just a technicality that we have to do by state law.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
oh, and you have to sign too, so after you vote on it at the end.
Okay.
All right, any other discussion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, motion carries. Number 5.
Thank you. We are asking approval for a resolution to transfer amounts from the education fund to the operation fund. This cannot exceed 15% by state law.
All right, I would entertain a motion to approve as presented.
I'll make the motion.
All right, Mr. Lombard makes the motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Mr. King seconds. Any discussion on the motion?
Did we,
What was the percentage?
15% then was the
The max,
and that's what we did.
yes.
Yeah.
Except we will be under the 15%,
under.
14 point some.
And what?
It's 14 point something.
Yeah, because I never want to hit
Make sure we don't
15% because we
exceed,
don't
yeah.
want to be
Okay.
by the State Board of Accounts again.
It does not seem we did anything other than set a little bit lower bar. And I would have hoped we would have thought through a little bit more as to what we would have needed to transfer and transferred no more. And I don't know if that's what we did or not.
Well, it's in the budget set up through the process, so
Any more discussion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, motion carries. Number 6.
thank you. We're asking approval for a resolution to transfer amounts from the operation fund to the rainy day fund.
Okay, I would entertain a motion to approve as presented. All right, Mr. King makes a motion. Do we have a second? Mrs. Miller makes seconds. Any discussion on the motion?
And the purpose of this transfer,
Is to give you access to $500,000 where you would want to put it down the road. The rainy day fund is easy for the board to transfer money. The 500,000, over 300,000 was interest from investments that we made when I first came here from our funds that we didn't do in the past. So, for example, the lease on the Shawswick and Needmore project was $14.7 million. That will be invested with Damon, and we'll draw interest on that. Then as the project is being done, they do draws off of that, and we will not allow the final product draw until I approve that the system's running at top notch. So this is about my 4th construction, so we're getting pretty good at it. So
It's kind of like a money market, right?
yes, we want to make sure that money is invested because then I can use it for cosmetics and stuff for our schools. So now the interest rate is dropping slightly, so we're not going to make the exact money we made last year because we got over 5% on some of our investment CDs. Right now, you're probably going to get in the 4s or the high 3s here in the shortly. So, but it's still.
Okay. Any further discussion? All right. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? All right. Motion carries. Number 7.
Thank you. We're asking approval for a resolution for the 2025 budget hearing, and we had the hearing last.
All right. I would entertain a motion to approve as presented.
so moved.
All right. Mr. Parsley makes the motion. Do we have a second? Mr. Lombard seconds. Any discussion on the motion? All right. Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right. Motion carries. Number 8.
We are asking approval for the 2025 budget transfer resolution.
I would entertain a motion to approve as presented. All right. Mrs. Miller makes the motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Bailey seconds. Any discussion on the motion?
So this is just to be able to transfer between funds as required
Yes.
through normal operations?
Yes. Anytime you transfer between the education fund or the operation fund or the rainy day fund, it has to be approved by the board.
But
So is this redundant approval?
there's no need to, I mean, there's no, like, any set limits or anything like that. It's just, as they
No.
come up, we just.
Yes,
we-
from the different item lines.
Okay, just go from item to item, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
But it has to stay within that budget. And
Okay. Any other discussion?
that's given the treasurer the right to move that money. I don't move the money. I usually
Right.
don't see this, so
Mm.
only the finals. I look at the final line.
Can we assume that the treasurer will take over these line items of discussion with the board at some point in the near future?
Next month.
Yes.
She just got back from vacation, so I'm doing
Yeah.
it.
All right. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right. Motion carries. Number 9.
Thank you. We are asking approval of administrator assistant service contract that was with Paul Gabriel. He'll be working with the finance department through this transition.
All right.
And he was starting tomorrow.
All right. I would entertain a motion to approve as presented. Mrs. Miller makes a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Parsley seconds. Any discussion on the motion? All right. Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right. Motion carries. Number 10.
We are asking approval to post a RFQ.
All right. I would entertain a motion to approve as presented.
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Lombard makes the motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Bailey seconds. Any discussion?
Do you want to expand on RFQ? That's pretty,
Yeah.
pretty neat little term there.
Request.
We can see it, but not everybody else can be able to.
Request for qualifications for an energy conservation measures. We have to post this in the local paper and our website. I'm asking for other bids. I'm going to ask the board in January to do an energy savings project, and that project will possibly be solar / energy savings at the Career Center. That'd be a new total wiring, and also some other projects of HVAC at the Career Center. I would like some competition with this. I think it's time that we broaden our spectrum to look at some other vendors, and this will start in January. That probably we would, if the board would like the project, you're talking about sometime in March before spring break. That would be another lease. So, and Damon has built that in our budget, so I haven't in my mind what the project could be, but the board could either raise the project or lower it, depending on what's needed.
So when you say and write it up as a request for qualifications, whereas I would expect for proposals or quotes, you say qualifications. You're just looking for
Companies.
the ability of someone in the market to do
do it.
this work. You're not
And-
yet asking for
Yeah,
quotes.
and then after we see another company, or it could be possibly an existing company, then we would go and have a study done, what I would like to present, and then we would present it to the board to see if they like the scope of the work, and then we have to bring Damon in to do the funding.
Okay. For future minutes, please spell out the
Yeah.
acronym RFQ.
Oh, okay.
So we know that that's a request for qualifications and not for quotes, or
Oh, okay, yes.
and put something to the topic of it for the 7 people 10 years from now who look at this and say, what in the world was that? And, so, thank you.
Yes.
And here you got on the timeline, action item, talk about solar and lighting upgrades, building automation, electrical upgrades and roofing.
Mhm.
And we list our schools, and then under the overview, it says energy conservation measures.
Yes.
We include Playful Pathways in the second list, but not the first. Does it belong in both, or is it?
Well,
they don't
Playful
cover- they don't-
Pathways,
since
I
it's
wasn't going to spend.
Relatively new, right?
I'm not going to. We would not recommend to spend any more money on that project because
Okay.
it's pretty well completed there. That building's in good shape, so
Okay,
that's why we left it off.
all right,
And it has LED lights throughout the building.
okay. So should it come out of the overview well, or is that just to include everything we got? Like the two
Let me-
lists.
It's in the second one, but not the first, right?
Yeah, on page 2, it's not listed. On page 4, it's listed, so I didn't know if the overview has,
Yeah, I'll take it out.
okay.
Thank you.
Any further discussion?
Now you know the board has to approve the company.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah,
if we,
well, we have to prove an RFP or Q
Yes,
for
you're right.
quotes, and then we have to approve
well,
the.
it's a long process.
Yeah, I was gonna say, this
Yeah.
is just the beginning.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's just giving me the right to post.
Yeah.
That's-
All right. Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, motion carries. Number 11.
We are asking a recommendation to authorize Maverick Energy Consulting to act on behalf of North Lawrence Community Schools to manage and procure natural gas supply and services. That means we will buy our natural gas from a consortium to bring the price down and also level out any spikes in the market.
Okay. I would entertain a motion to approve as presented.
So moved.
Mr. Lambert makes a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Parsley seconds. Any discussion on the motion?
Do you have a guesstimate, a guesstimate on what kind of savings?
It depends on the
Typical.
market.
Okay.
Some could be very little of just $1,000. There's been times you could save over 100,000 depending on the market
So when
spike,
you hit it, right?
because we set the price. And we'll be with quite a few schools, so it's an idea is to get a better rate. It was part of the energy plan I'm putting together to try to reduce our utility costs.
Okay. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, motion carries. Number 12.
Thank you. We are asking approval of a 50-cent increase for North Lawrence Community School support staff employees. This is not, of course, bus drivers, and maintenance has already been taken care of.
All right, I would entertain a motion to approve as presented. Mr. King makes a motion. Do we have a second? Mrs. Miller seconds. Any discussion on the motion?
This comes out of operations.
All right, hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Abstain.
All right, so motion carries.
Thank you.
Number
We're
13.
asking approval of professional development for Matthew Canada to attend Fall Principals Conference in Indianapolis, Indiana, on November 24th through the 26th, 2024.
All right, entertain a motion to approve as presented.
So moved.
Mr. Lombeck makes the motion. Do we have a second? Mr. King seconds. Any discussion on the motion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, motion carries. Number 14. We're almost there.
Thank you. We are asking approval of the Shawswick school title commitment invoice. This is for the lease.
I would entertain a motion to approve as presented. Mr. Lambert makes the motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Parsley seconds. Any discussion on the motion?
This is title work, it looks like.
Yes.
Yeah, it's required, excuse me, required for the bond. It's,
Oh.
the lender gets a lender's policy, and this building corporation gets a owner's policy.
Yeah.
Okay.
We still own the Shawswick building,
Yes.
right? Because a couple of people had asked me that. Yes, we're not changing the title of the Shawswick building.
We are changing the title.
But I mean, we're not giving it away. We're not giving away Shawswick School.
No.
It's the lien on the
I'm just saying that so that everybody knows that.
Right. North Lawrence Community School Corporation transfers it to the North Lawrence Community Building Corporation, and they have to hold title while it's being leased.
While it's being leased. right.
The lease financing structure.
Okay. Just clarifying that so
And
that
then
people
after you
don't
pay
think
it
that.
back, we own it back.
Yeah, it's deeded back to.
We
the
get it back
school
after we
Get
pay
it.
the bill off.
Right. Okay. Any further discussion? All right. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? All right. Number 15.
Thank you. We're asking approval of the Parkview Intermediate elevator replacement.
All right. I would entertain a motion to approve as presented. Mrs. Miller makes a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Parsley seconds. Any discussion on the motion?
We have an aging group of elevators, and this elevator we can't get parts for anymore or anyone to work on it. So we'll have to start replacing elevators throughout the district. This will have to come out of the bond, that money that we've saved. So, because it was not budgeted. And since we have children that need to use the elevator there, it has to be fixed right away.
I was on the board when they put it in there. I'm not that old.
You're getting there, Jane.
We'll have to look back All right. Any further discussion? All right. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? right, motion carries. Go ahead.
Yes, I'd like to ask Miss Susie Swango to stand. She received a Community Partner Award for her pre-ETS program at BNL. We want to congratulate her, and we thank her for all her work, and congratulations, we really do. Also, I need to thank Dwayne and Stacy and all the bus drivers for all the work they did over the summer. This was a huge undertaking, and Jeff came over for a couple meetings as we went through the process of rerouting, saving money. The raise tonight was partly due to that savings that was occurred by the Transportation Department. So I can't tell you enough how much we should thank Dwayne and Stacy for to reroute all these buses. I mean, that's a tremendous amount of work in the summer, and I'm very proud of their efforts. Also, we are starting finally to get new buses. The 13 we bought a year ago, we've received 3, and hopefully we're not paying until we receive them. So we've held that money, but we're thankful that these buses are starting to come in. And also, I think I have to thank BNL, the counseling department, Matt Canada, principal, his staff, all the teachers from the trimester to semester. What we asked of this group again over the summer was tremendous, and I'm very proud of these groups of people that have, when we ask for them to do a project, how seamless and how hard they worked on it to help our kids and help this district save money. So I just want to say how proud I am of them and their efforts over this summer, and we've had a pretty good start to school, so I'm really pleased of their efforts. So. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And congratulations to Susie. She's been doing great work here a long time. Any persons to address the board for agenda or non-agenda related items? Assuming no cards, David? Okay. All right, then we will move on to closing business with spotlights and highlights from Mr. King.
Okay, spotlights and highlights for September of 2024. Shawswick Elementary School. We had our annual rock painting family night on Tuesday, September 17th. Our students and families painted rocks to add to our school rock garden, which lines the new landscaping out front. It looks amazing. We're thankful for the uplifting pop and color and personal touch it adds to our building. We're excited to welcome our former grandparents to the building in celebration of Grandparents' Day. These will be today, September 19th, and tomorrow, September 20th. Grandparents will spend some time in our classrooms with their grandchildren and enjoy some cookies with them, and some will get to enjoy songs, crafts, and special activities. We're so thankful for this special time to spend with our former families. We're building vocabulary and language comprehension by having a school-wide WOW word each week. Mr. Fig and Mrs. Pace introduce a word of the week on Monday, and each classroom creates a jaw-dropping sentence using the vocabulary word. These are shared throughout the week, and the winner is chosen each week. This week's WOW word is bewildered. Parkview Primary. We hosted Grandparent and Special Friend Day on Friday, September 13th for the first time in several years. The day started with the full rainbow over Parkview. Each teacher planned an activity for the students to share with their loved ones, and it was an engaging day for all. Parkview hosted a scholarship fair for the first time in several years. Families were invited to come to school for the book fair from 4 to 6 p.m. Wonder Lab came to Parkview K through 2 on August 23rd to share their Matter presentation. The students learned about 3 states of matter while participating in demonstration labs. We're continuing our work with the literacy cadre as a Year 2 school. Our focus is engaging on coaching cycles that enhance literacy instruction. On Tuesday, September 10th, Edmentum spent the afternoon with our teachers. Their training included the individualized learning paths available, as well as how to use the programs to support literacy. Parkview Intermediate. Parkview Intermediate had our first Grandparents' Day since consolidation. We had a great turnout and enjoyed having families in the building. The staff are already making plans for next year's event. We're proud to have 25 runners in our running club practicing for the upcoming Limestone 5K. NLCS is focusing on student attendance this year. Our 4th grade hit 99% last week. Lincoln Elementary. We had 2 grandparents' breakfasts last week. We had a great turnout each morning. Students and grandparents enjoyed donuts and juice or milk, and were able to spend a little extra time with each other before their day started. Thank you to our PTO for providing the refreshments for this event. The Lincoln Green Thumb students are super excited about their watermelon. The fall garden vegetables are also beginning to sprout. Our third grade students have been participating in the Purdue CATCH program. This is a nutrition education program offered through Purdue Extension Office. Students learn about nutrition, physical activity, and healthy snacks. Dollins Elementary. Our early dismissal day was incredible for the Dollins team. We were able to dissect individual student data pieces and make plans for intervention as well as specific goals. Classrooms are in full swing with the early benchmark testing. We're learning more and more about our kids to help them be the best version of themselves possible. At the end of September, we begin our reading push to improve iRead scores. The focus will be K through 3 and will be based on Susan Hall's 10 success factors for literacy intervention. Based on data, students will work in small groups and hone any schools that need attention. We will monitor progress every 2 weeks to make sure we know exactly where our kids are struggling or are excelling. Our third grader, Araya Smith, is the 2024 Persimmon Festival Little Miss Princess. Our sixth grader, Trenton Aiken, won his tennis match against Edgewood for the middle school stars. Hoosier Hills Credit Union generously donated a large number of tickets for the IU football game on Saturday, September 21st. We are giving them out to families to honor kids who are showing improvement in behavior, academics, or citizenship. Needmore Elementary. Preliminary M-Class data for second grade shows that what we're doing is working for students. Way to go, kindergarten and first grade teachers and our instructional assistants. Teachers are doing a great job meeting weekly to discuss student data, assessments, and curriculum. We are proud of our iRead 3 pass rate, and we continue to work with students to get them at or above grade level. Our school-wide August attendance rate was 97.1, and so far our September attendance rate is also 97.1. Bedford Middle School. We started this year with a strong focus on improving attendance, and the dedication shown by our students, BMS families, and our teachers and staff have been truly remarkable. This collective effort is fostering a culture of commitment and success at BMS. Our student leadership and building community classes continue to make a positive impact around school. Our students have been creating encouragement cards for our staff, providing school tours for new students and their families, and helping custodians by wiping down tables. Their contributions demonstrate leadership and a commitment to promoting a welcoming and supportive environment at BMS. On September 7th, our BMS cheer team competed in the Royal Rumble cheer at Eastern Hancock High School and brought home a first place finish. We're incredibly proud of their hard work, dedication, and team spirit. Gateway Academy. 2024 cohort members have completed the requirement for a diploma. One student who may have otherwise become very behind due to illness keeping him home is earning credits through Gateway Academy. 2 students have transferred back to NLCS because of the alternative program option. We are partnering again with Bertha's Mission, Boys and Girls Club, local business owners, and Sisters in Transition. These entities are providing opportunities for community volunteerism, enriched learning opportunities, job shadowing, and employment for our students. North Lawrence Career Center. 25 FFA members participated in the Livestock Skillathon Career Development event. Maddie Crouch placed 4th out of 120 participants in the senior division. Local National Guard members volunteered their time and arms to assist health science students as they learned how to administer and read TB test. Criminal justice students were certified in Stop the Bleed with the help of IU Bloomington Hospital. Welding students attended the Central Midwest Carpenters Open House with instructor Dave McCart to learn about opportunities in the union trades.
All right, thank you, Mr. King. Upcoming meetings, our next, we have a public work session October 3rd, and then October 17th is a regular session, an executive session. We do have our strategic planning meetings. I don't have the dates in front of me, but that process has started. I feel like it went really well. October 22nd at 6 at the PAC, and we had, I think, around 40 people come to the first meeting. So with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All right, Mr. King makes a motion. Do we have a second? Second. Mr. Parsley seconds. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right.